Hey YouTube, it's your girl Chic from Chic Say What, and I'm coming here tonight to talk about our girl Portia Williams. So I'll give it a few minutes to see if some people are going to hop on this live before I get into it. So I learned some information pertaining to Portia and her leaving Dish Nation. Did Portia really walk away from Dish Nation, or was sis pushed out? That is the question. That's the question. Yeah, one of my comments on one of the previous videos also I did on Crystalline Kerosene. They said apparently, I guess Crystalline did a live. I don't know if she did something today to talk about the situation with her and Mr. E. So the commenter said, "Hey, Chic, CK addressed everything in this live, and Mr. E came on too. Turns out he didn't actually say the N-word, and black man embellished what happened. Say it ain't so." Wow. See, that's the thing. I didn't hear about, I didn't hear the original, I guess, Clubhouse communication, interaction, whatever. It's like I can't speak from a perspective of what I took from it. I just kind of have to go off of just what I was able to learn just from my research, just from people who, it seems like even the people, in my research that I would find out here, they really didn't even hear it. It was just kind of like, well, I heard, kind of like one of those types of situations. So it's one of those things to where it's a lot of moving parts. I have been seeing some videos out there where, there's some people kind of coming to her defense and things. So, but yes, I'm going to still continue to watch that one, because I might have to come back on here and maybe even do a part 3 pertaining to Crystalline and the Pink Pew. But tonight I want to talk about Portia Williams and her departure from Dish Nation. So many of us might have seen, the same thing released. I think I saw it yesterday, where she wrote this thesis. She wrote, this long statement about, her feelings about leaving Dish Nation and all of that. So many of you may have seen it. If you haven't, I try to bring it up and just kind of so we can kind of go through it together. But, it reads as though, she's just making a decision to walk away from Dish Nation to pursue other things. Like her life is just going in a different direction. So, when I first seen the statement, I'm like, okay. I mean, because we all knew, her life was going in a different direction when she allegedly accepted a proposal to her quote unquote friend's husband. Now, I never, as far as with the Housewives, I fell off watching the Housewives probably back when Phaedra probably stopped being on there. Like, no, probably even before then, probably even going back to Kim Zolciak being on there. Like, it's been a minute, because they were getting too ratchet for me on there. And I just couldn't deal no more. I felt like, okay, the older I was getting, the more mature I was getting, the more I realized that, okay, this is not it. Being a whole married woman, a mother of 3 kids, if I do got a little bit of time to myself, I'm not going to spend that time entertaining that foolery. So I guess it's been probably about 7 years at least since I fell off, I guess, with watching the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And then I never got into any of the other ones. I know my sister's really into was that Housewives of Potomac. She said, that's where it's at. So she really enjoys that one, but I just cannot. I don't like to see our Black women kind of going at it against each other. And that's why, what prompted me to do that video about Crystal and Sin G is because it's not a good look. It's just not what I support. I don't stand for that, and I don't encourage anything like that. So I'm all about trying to uplift our sisters and our brothers. Like, I'm all about speaking positive, into a situation, into people's lives. But as we go on, please like, share, subscribe, and we're going to get into it. Also, hey, please hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. So let's get into it. I want to share my screen, and I'm going to bring up an article that I found pertaining to our girl, Portia Williams. So let me see. Let me get my page up. What I found. All right. So Yahoo News. Portia Williams reveals she is leaving Dish Nation. Goodbyes are never easy. Okay. So what did sis have to say? On Wednesday, the reality star shared the news on Instagram that she would be departing the radio show after 8 years. Her last day as a host will be August 27th. First of all, I didn't even realize Portia had been on Dish Nation for 8 years. Like, that's a long time. I guess I don't watch Dish Nation. I've seen it before, but it wasn't anything that I kind of watched on a regular. I more so was a support for the radio show. Since the whole pandemic thing, I'm home now, so I'm not in the car to listen to them on the radio. So, I did love the morning show, but that's where my support kind of came from for Ricky. But okay, 8 years. All right. That was a nice run. Quote, she quotes, "Goodbyes are never easy, and this one is especially hard. For the past 8 years, I've worked on one of the most fun, collaborative, exciting, and best produced shows on television. But as I continuously start new chapters in my life, it means I have to close others." End of quote, she wrote. So this is Portia and her new man, her fiance, the man that we all came to know as Fallon's husband on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. We remember when this picture came out because that's when Portia released that, "Y'all, I got a man," and I'm happy. That's pretty much kind of how she popped out the scene with her announcement. We really didn't see it coming, but it's like, okay. So then she goes on to say, "Since 2013, everybody at Dish has been like family to me. There's a lot of people I've met along this journey that I am incredibly thankful for," Williams continued. "Whether it was on air or behind scenes, they've endlessly supported my career and more importantly, my happiness." She went on to thank her crew, co-hosts, and the network. And of course, she couldn't forget about her fans. "Thank you all for an unforgettable run in almost 10 years of my life. I am eternally grateful for," she concluded. "Keep dishing. Love you." Williams has not yet confirmed whether or not she will be returning for season 14 of The Housewives of Atlanta. However, it appears her next chapter will still include Bravo. In May, a source told People that Williams would be getting a 3-part limited series on the network that focuses on her personal life. Okay, so we all talked to, we all kind of seen her, we seen probably seen that post floating around as far as with her departure comment. And most of us are familiar with the, behind the scenes part of pertaining to her relationship with her now fiance. So what prompted me to get on here to talk about this is that during my research earlier on just the whole situation, I learned that allegedly Portia did not walk away from Dish Nation on her own. She was basically asked to leave. So from what I've learned is that allegedly she told Bravo she did not want to be a part of, I guess, the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I believe her now fiance, what's that man name? Her now fiance, y'all, I forgot what this man named Simon. Simon really didn't want to be, have his life beyond that. Like he didn't want to be a part of that. So when she chose to walk from Bravo, Dish Nation was like, well, you can't continue to stay over here, because apparently her getting the opportunity, apparently it seems like her opportunity to be on Housewives and her opportunity to be on Dish Nation were linked together. So when she chose to not be on Housewives, then Dish Nation came back and was like, okay, well, based on how you have that opportunity to be over there, we're not going to be able to allow for you to be over here. I also heard another layer was just the negative light surrounding by the whole situation with her and Simon. It just wasn't a good look. Basically Dish Nation wasn't interested in just having that type of attention connected to their brand. So Portia and her fiance Simon, they say Gubadia, I believe that may be how you pronounce it. They're going to have their own little show coming up that's kind of just going to consist of them. It says here, a series was greenlighted several months ago, and it is set to, let me see, what is it saying? Okay, in May, a source told People that Williams would be getting a 3-part limited series on the network that focuses on her personal life. The series was greenlit several months ago and is set to begin production over the summer. The special will focus on Portia's life and her family, a source tell People. So I feel like Simon is good with this whole, he's good with being on TV and the camera. I think he don't want to be a part of the Housewives because everybody know what's going on. They pretty much have this opinion on how he and Portia got together. So we can only imagine that would be a conversation piece in the season as to how Simon and Portia got together. And I feel like Simon's just not trying to deal with that or take on that heat. It's almost like, okay, we're together and I just want people to accept it. And I don't want to be in an environment where it's a conversation piece. So it's like, okay, well, there's no need really for us to be on here because all they're going to want to talk about is how you and I got together. And I would imagine he and her both feel like, there's things that are private and that they don't want to share. But naturally, people are going to want to know the tea. They're going to, want Portia to speak on things. So to me, with them getting their own spinoff show, there's more control there as far as if somebody's questioning them or challenging them about anything pertaining to their union and how they got together. I feel like, having your own show, it's like literally, it's like it almost skirts over the drama, because who's there to question it? Because this is your show. So since it's your show and it's just centered about, around your life, and I would imagine maybe your wedding plans, I would imagine Portia may want, more children. She just has, PJ, her daughter. So it's going to be that type of environment. So you're not going to really have the drama there. And I think that's what they're looking for, primarily Simon, because at the end of the day, he was the one that was married still when he hooked up with Portia. Now, whether or not he and Fallon were separated, who knows? Only he and Fallon can speak on that. I did see the interview that Fallon did some months back about just how she learned about Portia, her marriage to Simon, and how, she admitted that they did have their ups and downs, but, she thought they were kind of on their way up based off of her prior, more recent communication with him prior to, learning that he was leaving her. So she said, she was confused. Like, okay, what happened? Just like yesterday, you were saying this, now this, like, what happened? So it was a really good interview. I thought she handled herself well. So I would imagine that, if she were to be on, if Portia were to go back to being on the Housewives, she would be put in the hot seat. I know a lot of people been campaigning, wanting to see Fallon get a peach and be on the show to hear what she got to say. I'm not going to lie. If she was on the show, it probably would have me to tune in just to kind of see the energy amongst the ladies, how Portia would carry herself being around Fallon. Now, Portia, since the beginning, have always said, me and Fallon were not friends. Me and Fallon were not friends. And I can say, I agree. I actually believe they were not friends, because I do understand when you're dealing with reality TV, it's not exactly reality. And I know that sometimes they'll introduce people, and a lot of times people are more like characters into a situation to make it seem like it's more than what it is. Like I do know that's a thing. I do feel like, okay, it just made it seem as though they were friends just for the optics of it all. But to me, the fact that it was presented to the world that we, Portia and Fallon were friends, to me, that should have resulted in Portia saying, okay, I can't cross that line, because even though I know me and Fallon ain't friends, that's not how we've portrayed ourselves to the world. And me hooking up with him, that's going to be a bad look for me. It's going to impact my brand. Like, I can't do that. So let me just kind of keep it moving and not bark up that tree. Like, I think that's what a lot of people were feeling. Like, even if they believe, no, the ladies weren't friends, the fact that what was presented to the world was that they were friends, and Portia was in this woman's house, in her pool, like in her private space. And typically, when someone's coming into your home, your private space, like, you're inviting them in. So that's an invitation. So Portia was invited into this family's home. So just from that standpoint alone, out of the respect, that should have resulted in Portia saying, you know what? I can't even go there, because like, it's not a good, like, I just can't even go there just for my own pride. Like, it comes down to like, well, pride. Like, do people even have pride anymore? To me, Portia's move made it seem like she wasn't even concerned about her brand. She was more concerned about getting the bag more so than her brand. So now it is for whatever reason, she doesn't have the check coming in anymore after August for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And she's not going to have the check coming in for Dish Nation. I would imagine, I don't know, but I would imagine that those two checks, those are her primary forms of income. So outside of that, I think she's still got a nice bank account, but I'm talking about, those reoccurring checks. Those reoccurring checks from those two sources have stopped. They've stopped after this month. So now it has her in a situation to where she's going to be, to me, in a situation of more being relying on a man. Where, okay, well, man, I'm gonna need to really try to make sure this work because I don't really have my money coming in like that, like I did. So since he's got the money coming in, I need to just make sure, I really got to make sure I got this solid and locked down. Like, to me, I feel like without Portia having those two streams of income coming in, it's going to put her in a situation to have to endure more in the relationship than she probably would say if things were to kind of go left between them. Because really at this point, I feel like Portia's going to try to make it work to save face, because so many people already know, the background pertaining to their situation is messy. Whether or not what people know, if they think what they know is factual or not, the point is people have formed opinions, and most of the opinions that I've heard or read, they're not favorable. There's so many people in the comments I read who say that they don't even plan to support her series with Simon. Like, to me, it just reminds me of back when Alicia Keys got with Swiss Beats, and people felt the type of way with how their relationship started, in particular women. And women felt like Alicia Keys stole another woman's husband. I believe her name was Mashonda. People felt like Alicia Keys stole Swiss Beats from Mashonda. And per Mashonda, when she did her open letter years ago, like, she co-signed that. Like, so at that point, it wasn't a rumor. Like, she did like this whole open letter that was on the internet, co-signing like, yes, this woman did this, that, and the third. Alicia Keys' career ain't been the same since then, y'all. It hasn't. It's almost like she never bounced back. Here and there, every so many years, she'll pop out with a single or some type of collaboration with somebody, but it seemed like it never take off. It never takes off. And over the years, when I just read different blogs and things pertaining to Alicia Keys, people are still in their feelings about how she got with Swiss Beats. And as a result of people in their feelings, they stopped supporting her. So her popularity kind of went down, which means that money wasn't coming in like that. And I feel like it probably had an impact on Swiss Beats' career as well, too, as far as like his money coming in. Because for a while, we really wasn't hearing about Swiss Beats doing music really with anybody. It's like when you hear either one of their names, it was just them being a married couple and when they were having kids. But it wasn't anything like business related where they were out there together getting a bag. Like, it wasn't nothing like that. It was just like, oh, this is just a married couple. So I feel like, Alicia Keys, the decision she made in her personal life impacted her business. And it back to, that mixing business with pleasure. Because just as with Crystalline, I felt like when she brought Mr. E onto her platforms, like, she started to mix her business with pleasure. And now, we're dealing with a lot of drama, or we're hearing about a lot of drama that was centered around her man. drama that we wasn't hearing when she was with her ex-husband. Like from what I've, learned from people in my comments, he chose to not be on social media, and they were married for like 20 years. I personally think that was a good decision that he chose to not be on social media. It pays to, and more often than not, I feel, to kind of keep your personal life private or separate from your business. And Alicia Keys mixed her business with her personal life. And here we are today in 2021. Alicia Keys is not really making music like that. And I still hear the the chatter about how she got with Swiss Beats. Now, I always heard, how they got together. Did I move through life with that being a forefront? Or when I think about Alicia Keys, no. But I knew it was a thing because there would be a lot of people, a lot of ladies on the internet that will be vocal about how they felt about her and how she's been moving. And then the thing that I found so interesting, say pertaining to even with Alicia Keys a few years back, is when Mashonda, I believe she wrote a book about the whole co-parenting thing. And I think this was following after she was seen taking family vacations with Alicia Keys, Swiss Beats, and the kids. Like, people thought that was kind of different. But to be honest, I felt like Mashonda went on this whole press tour with Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats to paint these pictures that everything is all good in the hood, because the money wasn't coming in the way it used to. So if Swiss Beats isn't bringing in that money like he used to, that's going to impact her, right? She got used to receiving them checks for child support, right? And same thing with Neo, with his now wife. People didn't like how he got with her, and as a result, many of us felt like his career took a hit. And guess what they did? They went on that field trip, that press tour as well, talking about how happy we are and we're a blended family. And many people seen right through it. People felt like, okay, really, y'all? To me, I felt like it was like they all came together and was like, listen, we're going to have to present another version of our family out here to the world, because this money not coming in. Neo, your money ain't coming in like it was coming in. Swiss, your money ain't coming in like it's coming in. So we need to create this image, whether it's real or not, to the people that we're all good. And the ex-wives or the ex-girlfriend have to paint a picture that, oh, the new woman, the new lady, she's fine. We love her. Because I can't think of what Neil, let me see. I would have to look up and see what Neil's wife's name is and what his baby mom's name is. But I just found it so interesting how when they were doing all that, with going on these press tours with trying to convince people that they were good in their situations as a family union, kind of like that Jada Pinkett, Will Smith, Cherie Smith vibe. Like, to me, I felt like theirs was genuine. Like Will and Cherie, Jada, like, I just felt like theirs was genuine, because maybe I feel like theirs was genuine because when Will and Jada got together, I never took notice that there was a hit taken to either one of their careers as a result of them getting together. And I didn't hear a lot of people talking about, oh, Will and Jada got together behind, while he was married to Cherie. I mean, a little bit I've heard some talks about some overlapping, Will used to be out there, but it wasn't anything that really took off where people were like, yeah, Will cheated on Cherie, and that's when he got with Jada and this, that, and the third. And Cherie, I never seen anything where she came out on record talking about Will getting with Jada, while they were married or whatever. I never heard such thing. So, but you never seen anything change with how Will's career was projecting, and as well as Jada Pinkett Smith. Like, I didn't see anything like that. But fast forward to Neo and his wife and Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats, like we seen a change with their careers. You can even throw who else in that mix? Gabrielle Union, Dwayne Wade. A lot of ladies talk about how Gabrielle got with Dwayne Wade. I've seen Dwayne Wade's ex-wife like do a whole interview talking about how Dwayne Wade was on her with Gabrielle Union, not coming home at night because he was out there all night with her. Like, people side-eye Gabrielle Union. So, I mean, the common denominator I notice is that women do not collectively support women who they deem as being homewreckers. It's like when it comes to that, we have this big, huge, like this big moral compass of, oh no, like you've crossed the line. We can't do that. Like that's where things stop. So I'm not going to support you. You're canceled. It was like they were canceled before cancel was a thing. Like Neil, Alicia Keys, people have been done with them since like mid, like 2000. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since people kind of haven't been messing with Neil or Alicia Keys like that with as far as with supporting their projects and the things they've been tied to. And I feel like they've tried, made efforts to try to rebuild, rebrand, and do all that they could, but I don't see either one of them ever getting back to the place that they were in pre their new relationships as far as when it comes to their careers. So with Portia and Simon, I just have a feeling that at the end of the day, their relationship isn't going to work because Simon is Simon. What they say, the way you get the person is the way you lose them. Portia going to end up getting her feelings hurt just like she did with, time and time again with PJ's dad when, people was talking about allegedly seeing him out there in the streets. I feel like it's just going to be a repeat of that. Simon clearly loves women and he has no problem with overlapping, relationships. So, but I do feel like Portia is going to work very hard to try to sustain the relationship because she doesn't want to look like a failure. And she knows there's a lot of people talking and who's kind of on standby to see what happens. Kind of like with Wendy Williams and Kevin. Like I felt like for a minute, Wendy was like holding on because she didn't want to prove people right that Kevin was a hot mess and that he was no good, that he was driving her crazy. Like she wanted to show a different side, a different image. She wanted to make it all seem like it was just lies and propaganda. Like, even though we knew better, we weren't dumb. And then it got to a point to where Kevin was just so reckless with his to where he didn't even care anymore. Like, okay, I'm finna just be out in public with my chick. I'm finna just be running your credit card, when I'm taking care of my chick. Like, he just didn't even care, y'all. He was just real reckless out there. So eventually, Wendy had no other choice but to face her reality. She had no other choice. And I feel like Portia, it's going to happen with her where she's going to be forced to one day have to face her reality. And it's just going to be a matter of if she will be able to bounce back with rebranding herself to even get back to where she was. Because here's my thing. Portia's still young. She's hot, but she's going to be getting older. Are people going to be interested or be trying to check for her like that? We hear a lot of times, older men like younger women. I feel like Portia will still be beautiful. Let's just say 10 years she's not with Simon anymore. She'll be a middle-aged woman, or I think, close to being a middle-aged. I guess let's see, how old is Portia? Let me see how old she is. Because the thing I've talked about it, on my channel before, men taking and wasting your time during your youth. Portia was born in 81. So she's a year behind me. So Portia is 39. Portia's 39 years old. So let's just say at 50, she's back on the dating scene. Her chances of getting married at 50 or after 50 are going to be very slim. By that point, hell, she's going to be on husband number 3. Husband number 3. Bringing into the relationship possibly 2+ kids. It's not going to be just her anymore. So her stock, many men may think that it's going to be lower than what it is by now. I mean, because she's going to be older. So people are not going to just look at her the same way as they do now. She'll be older. It's going to be something else hotter out there on the scene. You know how it goes. You can't stay young forever. Some newer model, newer, hotter thing, you know how, just like a car, like a newer model is going to show up on the scene. Out with the old, in with the new. So then she's going to be stuck, wondering like, wow, like what happened? Was this all worth it? I remember when I was, how popping I was just 10 years ago and how I demand. She's going to be reminiscing. Meanwhile, Simon's going to be on to his 8th or 9th wife. Like, he's going to continue to move on because chances are he's still going to be rich. He's still going to have money. And from what we see with men, it's like they're never too old to still pull the hot chick. As long as you got money, that's all that matters. So him being older, him being 65, like that's not going to make a difference for him versus Portia being 50. Like their experiences in the dating world is going to be different. Will Portia end up being able to wind up with another man who has more than Simon? I think the chances will be slim. But right now, I feel like she's walking away from her independence. Excuse me. And I don't know if she really sees it or realizes it yet. I feel like in time she will, but she's going to be too embarrassed to kind of openly admit that for obvious reasons. But like Wendy, it's going to come to a point where she's going to have to acknowledge the truth of the situation. So therefore she can get into a better position and try to rebrand herself, because something about Simon, he don't spark me as a type that's going to be okay with Portia just trying to make all these different moves with getting to the bag during that relationship. He sparks me as a type to where it's going to be about, well, you don't need to do all that. Just stay home, take care of our kids. You're married now. I'm going to take care of like he's not going to be one to encourage her from what I see, from my perception of him. And I could be wrong, but from what I see, there's nothing about him that gives me the vibe that he's going to be encouraging her and motivating her to do projects with just Portia Williams' name on it, or Portia, whatever his last name. Like, I don't see him doing that. I see him wanting to have her in a position where she's dependent on him. So therefore he can have the control. So therefore he can feel like, okay, I've created this lifestyle for her and she's not going to want to walk away from it. So because of that, she's going to do what I tell her to do. That's what I pick up. And whether or not Portia is going to be honest about that and really keep it real to let it be known, for a long time, I don't think she will. But I think eventually it's going to get so bad to where she's going to be forced to have to acknowledge the truth of her situation. And when she does, I can only imagine, I can hear her now, and Portia is going to go off. Like, she's going to be talking. She's going to be saying all kinds of this, because Portia, she's not a quiet woman. I feel like that day when things go left, Portia is going to be very vocal, because she's going to be angry and she's going to be bitter and she's going to be embarrassed. She's going to regret some things. And I feel like we're going to hear about it. We're going to hear about it. We're going to read about it. Like I think she might even try to build a new brand surrounding it, because, Portia going to figure out a way to make money. But I feel like she's going to capitalize off of it, because it's almost like she's going to be trying to make up for lost time. And only time will tell. Only time will tell. I mean, I just hope that whatever decisions that she is making, that she truly feels like she's making the best decision for herself and for her child, versus making a decision based on what somebody else wants or even what he wants. I want whatever decision that she makes, it be something that she can full-heartedly stand on. I want her to 100% feel like she's in it to win it. And if even right now, if she's feeling any type of hesitation, I think it would be a better look for her to walk before getting married and having children, versus to go through that whole experience and then later down the line talk about regrets. Because sometimes, backpedaling, we may be embarrassed, but that's okay, because it's better to be embarrassed to admit that something, no, this ain't working, than to go ahead and get in it and then your life is just torn apart because you got into something that you knew or you felt you wasn't fully okay with, but you did it because other people encouraged you to do it, or you was able to get a show if you did it. Like, we're dealing with lives. You have a child, so you can't try to make life moves based off of perception. Like, that's reckless behavior. And right now, Portia's demonstrating reckless behavior. And collectively, I'm seeing that that's what women are feeling when they see her right now running around with Simon and making these moves. People, are saying, they do not feel like it's wise if she's making wise decision. But at the end of the day, it's her decision, her life, and she's going to have to live with these decisions. Just as we have to live with our decisions. It'll be a lesson learned. We live and we learn. That's what they say. We live and we learn. And Portia's no different. She's human just like we are. So I'm going to continue to just, watch. I know they say what Ricky Smiley maybe spoke on it on his show. And supposedly, from what I've heard, like, he wasn't happy, about her leaving. When I did used to listen to Ricky Smiley on the radio or even on Dish Nation, it seemed like, he always had this little crush on Portia and he was fond of her. But, I also, during my research was hearing something about, him and Portia had a little, I don't know if you would say falling out, but I guess they weren't quite seeing eye to eye. Not sure what that was all about. If it had anything to do with the situation with Simon, I don't know. But I know at one point, at least, like, he was really fond of Portia. Like, he would really, express it. And I used to wonder, like, okay, well, why don't he go ahead and try to date her? So I don't know how she felt about him, but I know he would let it be known, like, as though, he had a little crush on her. So I don't know if he was just playful. I don't know what it was, but it never went anywhere. Ricky Money probably ain't long enough for Portia. But yes, I just want to get on here and just talk about, Portia Williams, walking away from Dish Nation. And I wanted to kind of hear what you guys' thoughts are on it. So if you can, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you again for my new subscribers. I want to continue to, watch how everything kind of unfolds, and see if it, gets any better for her. I'm sure she'll still proceed with Simon with making those money moves, but let's just hope that she finds it to be all worth it in the end, because I feel like there will be an end. So until next time, peace.